All trustees are present except for President Rogers, who was delayed traveling. Moving to item number 4, we have special order of business, Conservation Committee presentation on solar survey results.
Everybody. Chase Calvin, Conservation Committee. Thanks for taking the time to listen to me this evening. So a little bit of background about the solar survey. We have partnered with the City of Milwaukee and also the Midwestern Renewable Energy Association for the Solar Shorewood program. And we had numerous solar power hours throughout the village at different various bars and at the library, and they were really well attended. We also had a lot of interest from the residents of the village. Everybody was very interested in how to participate. We had 16 solar residential installations throughout the village, which at the time there had only been, I think, under 10, between 5 and 10 installations in the village. So that really did kind of push solar in the village. So we wanted to follow up and see where the village was, where the residents were, if they could latch onto other programs and kind of take solar to the next level within the village. So that's why we put together this survey. So we wanted to see a couple of things. One was the interest in solar in the village. The other was what were some of the barriers. I think we had, at each individual solar power hour, it was pretty full, and I think we had right around 30 to 40 at each event, but we only had 16 installations. So we also wanted to learn what the barriers to entry for a lot of residents were. So what we found with the survey was there's a lot of interest in solar in the village. A lot of people are interested in how to participate in solar programs. We also found that there are some barriers that people have. Number one was the cost barrier. That was the biggest barrier by far. In the village of Shorewood, we have a lot of trees. So even if everything else worked and they had enough money to put it up, you had tree coverage. You also had the possibility of your house might be oriented improperly for solar. The other issue could have been just the age of your roof. If you only have 10 more years left on your roof, you're not necessarily going to invest in solar. So that actually brings up the cost issue as well. So the committee really wanted to take a look at what programs were out there to see how participation could increase within the village. And one of the reasons that the Conservation Committee is looking into that is because the village board has stated that they want to have 25% renewable energy by the year 2025. So we really want to push that forward. One of the ideas that we came up with was revamping the neighborhood loan program to include energy efficiency options and also solar options. I think they're doing a revamp of it right now anyway, so this is possibly a great time to introduce energy efficiency options and solar options into that. Another one was exploring opportunities for a community solar program. And actually the survey was geared a lot towards this option, the community solar program. We looked into MG&E territory, Madison Gas and Electric, partnered with the City of Middleton to basically put a large solar array on a new DPW building. And they basically enlisted the help of MG&E customers. And they bought into this solar array that was a local project using funds from the initial buy-in. And then what customers received in return was an opportunity to overcome some of those barriers, like the cost, tree coverage, house roof orientation, roof age condition. Some of those barriers were they weren't there anymore. So a lot of people were able to buy into this. And then in return, they were given a set rate for a specific amount of time. And I think everybody here knows that the general rate increase is something that's going to continue. So at a specific point, they start paying less than the regular customer. So that was an option that I think could be explored by the village. The other one was just having the village invest in municipal solar projects. And I think that's something that, with the cost of solar going down, I think there's a lot of opportunity within the village. And I know recently there was an audit done on the village library just to identify some energy efficiency options and then see if solar would be a viable opportunity. And I think that could be continued on other buildings throughout the village. Another one was promote solar incentives to the Business Improvement District. Milwaukee County has a program right now called PACE, and basically it's structured as a low-cost option for commercial entities to be able to put some of the cost, or spread out the cost through their property taxes, and then that attaches to that specific building. So that kind of works on that cost issue. And then also explore a residential PACE program similar to the commercial PACE program. It's not an option right now within the county or the village, but I think that's something that could be explored as an option for residents. One other thing that is a recent thing that popped up is a Solar Now pilot program, which aimed at commercial and governmental entities through We Energy. So there's some options out there right now that I think the board could consider, the village could consider, and I think the conservation committee is willing to do some of the legwork on these things to kind of push that forward. So yeah, if you have any questions at all. Yeah.
Is the We Energy scheme you talked about that, is that a grant program?
Well, it's a very new program and it's a pilot program, so there's not a ton that's out there about it right now. I know that a couple of members of the conservation committee have looked into it and invited or just want to get to the right people within We Energies to talk to them about it. But from my understanding, it's a low to no cost option to have solar included on village buildings. But that sounds pretty good. So obviously there's some caveats to it.
Thank you.
All right. So thanks a lot.
I have a question. So what would be next steps here if the board was interested? Would it be a future item for consideration, or what's going to happen now?
Well, right now we.
That's the again.
I can go after you.
Okay. Oh, he's deferring.
Oh no, go ahead.
Well, I know we're talking to the Conservation Committee for some of their upcoming priorities. They'll be incorporating some of the recommendations that Chase went through, so that's where you're going to probably see it next.
Okay.
Is through their annual reports.
Great. Look forward to that. Okay. And in terms of any impact on the neighborhood loan program, since that's kind of in process now at the CDA level, is that something that is time sensitive? If that'll be considered?
Well, right now at the CDA we have frozen the neighborhood loan program.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to be back at reviewing that later this year. It's programmed to come back and review in May and June.
Okay.
And then we're going to be talking to the CDA about how to proceed.
Okay. So there's no opportunity this year. Okay.
And Chase already met with Bart to kind of go through some of those items too, so we've already had that connection.
On a positive note, I want to thank, I had an opportunity to meet with Chase when they were overdoing the review, and Conservation contacted us to further review the Village Center. And today we were just made aware of the fact that we had asked whether there was additional funding to have one additional village facility review. So they're going to be coming back to review this village. So I'm excited about that. So we'll undergo that process, and then hopefully when they'll both can come back with some updates. Thank you.
Well, thanks so much. All right. Moving on, item 5, consent agenda items. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Oh, wait, discussion. Discussion comes next.
I'm going to pull item B.
Minutes. Any other items that you'd like to comment on?
I want to pull item D.
All right, so then we there a motion to approve the consent agenda minus 5B and 5D?
So moved.
Second.
Although, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Moving to item 6, items removed from the consent agenda. We'll take 5B first. Consider February 4th, 2019 village board minutes.
Okay, I just had under item 6, 5G, the shenanigans special event permit, where it says the village member expressed their dislike of the event. I mean, I never said I disliked the event. I would phrase it as concerns about, I mean, I think I said something like I didn't feel it showcased political steps for Shorewood, but I would just say. Yeah, I would just say that like a village member expressed concerns about the event. I think it's, really basic. And then under, on page 10, under reports and other officials, discussion on next steps for review and planning prioritization. In the middle of the paragraph, the discussion started at the January village board meeting. I'd like to just strike the rest of that sentence, and I'd also like to strike, there's like some bolded. I would like clarification on what is our role as a village board versus what is staff's role. The village board is, I mean, I would take that sentence out, because I think the village board is supposed to set policy. That's all I have.
Any discussion, any other comments, any discussion on those requests? Okay, so then we would vote on those.
So I move that we approve the village board meeting minutes from February 4th,
Those
2019.
changes.
With changes, with stated changes.
Okay, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Excellent. Item 5D, as in dog. Consider Shorewood Shenanigans temporary Class B liquor license for the Shorewood Business District and extension of premise for Brat House for Saturday, March 16th, 2019.
And I just pulled this prior to approval because I understand that there's staff and or members of the public who would like to comment prior to us voting on this.
We have a couple of choices. We can, since we're on consent agenda to start, we can put a motion on the floor and then open it up for discussion. We can hear the comments first and then put a motion on the floor.
I would make a motion to approve the proposed Shorewood Shenanigans temporary Class B for the Shorewood Business District extension of premises for Broad House for Saturday, March 16th, 2019.
Second.
Discussion. First one, village board. Okay. Members, bid members, staff,
I think,
members of the public.
hi, hello everybody, good to see you again. I just came up, the reason why there was some discrepancies on this was quite simply because where I took issue myself was we're bringing in an outside bar to raise funds for the bid through Shorewood Shenanigans. And I had some back and forth with Erica, and I will say we get on great. The bid, I'm very happy because what the bid has essentially done with Erica coming on board is take a lot of the weight off us and a lot of pressure at Three Lions putting these things together, and actually assisting big time on the financial end of things. My concern with this aspect was simply we're bringing in another bar from the outside when we already have 4 bars with a Class B liquor license. And the purpose of the bid is to enhance his business and bring attention. And so he says that I was feeling as though we certainly have enough bars to cope with the volume that's there. So it's not a necessity. However, I do understand that there is financial burden that comes with this. So what I kind of wanted to make sure was put on the record today was essentially, if we've got to fund this, and the bid needs to fund it, and they've got to raise the money, I'm perfectly fine with them for this event, because we are so close to the deadline. We do have to work as a community, you know, and we do have to sometimes take it. Obviously, you all know I've got skin in the game, and it does impact us when another bar comes in. I just feel in the future there are better ways of us getting the sponsorship together, and I'm all for, I mean, in our correspondence today with Erica, I was pointing out, I'm all for bringing in, I wanted food trucks, I wanted stalls, I wanted vendors from the rest of the area to come up to the block. Didn't necessarily want a bar coming in and competing with us, but the funds need to be raised for the bid. I just think in the future we could put together a little more conducive, a little more efficient sponsorship package, which would allow us to provide the bid to provide the entertainment that's going to be coming. And I do say the bid because we still are putting out ourselves a radio commercial that's promoting the event for $1,200. We're still paying for some of the entertainment coming up there. But I did find it kind of, there's a lot of vendors coming in that aren't being charged, while the people on the block are being charged or being asked to contribute to sponsorship, which I'm very happy to put money forward, provided that on the back end things are coming back in, as you understand. So I do feel for this event, understanding that we are 3 weeks away, and Eric has worked very hard on the event. I think